Okay. I'm not sure kung nakita ko niyo yung title or if you saw the title. As much as possible, I want to deliver this in English because I will record this and this will be going on my YouTube channel also. So, minsan magtatagalog ako maybe to address direct questions, but as much as possible, I will deliver this in English kasi madalas yung nanonood ng mga videos ko, it's international viewers. What's up, Wolf? There's your pabate. Hey, Wolf. Hi, man. So, okay, I'm good with the numbers now. Let's rock and roll so that when the new people come in and watch this, they'll realize what's happening. So, let's go straight into the nitty-gritty. Pero, comment lang kayo kung gusto niyo ng shoutout, pabate, anything like that. Alright. So, see if I can just arrange it. Yeah, there we go. So, it's bigger. So, for this stream, that's just a teaser. What we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze the drafting tendencies of teams. This is just based off of my personal tracker for stats. This isn't the official stats of the league. I also come up with my own stat sheets. So if there are some errors, that's on me. Because I'm just utilizing my own things here. And I'm not gonna say na perfect yung stats ko, but I do my best to keep it clean. Hey, what's up? Henry Wong Jr. So, earlier, I tweeted out something about how... Well, you know what? Let me look for the tweet. This is what I put in my tweet. I said, at Esports Reptar on Twitter, been studying the drafting patterns of teams in terms of their player-hero priority, i.e. which phase of the draft they pick for a player/position. The team with the most statistically flexible drafting priorities is Echo PH. 28 unique heroes picked, tied fourth with Bren. I will explain why later I said this. Though Next Play Esports fields the most dynamically changing lineups, lagi sila nagfa-flex ng roster lineup nila, they follow a fairly similar draft priority pattern across their multiple variations. And again, I will prove later why this is so. Tanggalin ko lang yung salamin ko kasi nagre-reflect yung sa screen. Okay, let's get to the nitty-gritty, guys. Tingnan natin yung mga stats. What's up, Mac? What's up, Excalibur? Mark Guerra Yakapin's watching. Si Asmalin, Joy Marie Lumbaka. Thanks for watching. Okay. Don't get to, what's that word? Huwag kayo masyadong overwhelm. Explain ko isa't isa ano yung mga ito. So, let's start with, okay, nandito na yung RSG sa kaliwa eh. So, umpisahin natin yung RSG. So, what I have here are the tables. And, tinatrack ko kasi yung mga picks and which phase in the draft pinick sila. So, nakita mo yung counter dyan. As you can see in the table here, you can see you have the name of the player, tas ito yung phase kung saan sila pinili sa draft. So, first phase, second phase, then the total is just there. That also means that's the amount of games played, you know. That's just there so I can help track it. So, what do these numbers tell us? Okay. For example, dito sa RSG, what we can see here is that more often than not, pipili sila ng hero kay Demon Kite para sa first phase. Along with Naths. Nababack up to nung hero stats ng RSG na madalas, and nakita din natin to as a tendency for other teams, na ang dami nang pumipili ng Lancelot as a first pick. Pero hindi yan first pick again, that's first phase. So first phase, madalas pumipili ng hero ng RSG para kay Demon Kite. Tapos para kay Nats din, pumipili sila. Usually, yung mga heroes ni Light na pupunta dito sa second phase. And then, heroes ni Aqua and Eman, sila yung tatawagin kong flex picks or swing picks. Let's just go with swing. So, with these numbers, what does this mean? Sorry, I just said I would do this more in English because this is going on YouTube. What does this mean? So, what this means is that, yes, they prioritize jungler heroes for Demon Kite. Yes, they prioritize XP laners. If I'm not mistaken, these Naths picks are mostly Esmeraldas. Esmeraldas, Glues, and Yuzongs. Glue not so much, I think, because it's usually banned. But yeah, those are like the top XP laner picks that you'd go for. And then this goes to show that one, they put importance on the picks of Demon Kite because of what the metas are there in the jungler, how RSG moves. This sort of backs up the idea that RSG is very objectives based, and they also put a lot of importance on getting a good hero for Demon Kite so they could set the tempo with that. Because it's always in the first phase. And what they want is that by the second phase of the draft, they want heroes that one, for light, because they put a lot of importance on the movements of their roamer. There is a team that is very similar to this, if I'm not mistaken, also TNC. Actually, no, not so much TNC. But let's focus on RSG. For RSG, that means they really put a lot of importance on their rotations from the mid lane. Yung roamer nila and their mid laner. So, with that, you can tell, okay, that backs up the idea of RSG being that deathball team. Yung sa early to mid game, they want it to be controlled. They want to get the early to mid game objectives. They want an early to mid game lead because of them, number one, prioritizing jungler picks, and number two, they prioritize picks for the roamers in the second phase because they want to see the matchups. They want to see the roamer of the other team first, or they want to pick it until later so that they can get as favorable a matchup as possible or as favorable a pick as possible for the roam role. Kasi, by the time pinili na nila yung roamer nila sa second phase, either kita nila yung, kung fourth pick siya at nasa blue side, you already know 3 of the enemy picks, or kung nasa blue side ka and you're one of the last 2 picks, kita mo na yung 4 na picks ng team mo. So RSG want to put a lot of focus on their roamer pick for light so that it can supplement the rotations of Demon Kite. And of course, there's a lot of really strong XP laner picks na sobrang safe. Naths, Esmeralda, Uranus, Yuzong, things like that. So, mas madalas nakita natin yung picks ni Naths sa first phase din. Tas, they just adjust the picks for Aqua and Eman depending on the matchup as well. And this could go either first or second. So, this means that, you know, they can really go either or. They are comfortable with picking close to whatever they want for that because there's not really a lot of matchups you have to worry about, or because of the priorities on heroes such as Beatrix, you want to pick them up as early as possible, or you're just RSG is comfortable with whatever they end up with. They're okay. Aqua, Eman, you're fine. As long as Demon Kite, Naths, and especially Light get their core heroes. That's good. Okay, so that's RSG. And then, if you want to cross-reference that, ito yung stats ko para sa heroes. You can also, wait, palitan ko lang to. TNC to eh. You can back that up by looking at the heroes that the teams like to pick. So, for example, di ba, si Eman, it's either blue side, red side. They don't really prioritize which side they pick. First phase or second phase, they don't really prioritize what Eman picks. But you have Beatrix has been picked 5 times. 1-1 has been picked 4 times. Then he has a pretty even spread with other heroes. So you can either pick this up either as one of your first 3 picks, or it goes into your 4th or 5th pick. So they're okay with that. But then you see here, as we get to Light, because of the idea, again, yung sinabi ko kanina is, maybe because RSG want to adjust their pick for Light so that they have a favorable matchup. You can see that in the spread with how many different options Light has. You have the Cho, you have the Edith, you have the Jawhead, you have the Kufra, you have the Matilda, you have the Rafaela, and you have the Ruby. So, okay, kita din sa stats na it gets backed up. RSG have a pretty flexible hero pool for Light. They change it up a lot. They have a lot of options. At dahil nga, mas madalas siya pinipili dun sa second phase, okay, it sort of supports the idea that RSG want to make sure that they have a very solid pick for Light depending on the matchup, or adjusted, tailored for the matchup. For Naths, you can also see flexibility there. Usually it's Esmeraldas. He actually has 3 picks on the Glue. Only has 1 pick on the Uranus, surprisingly enough. So it's mostly Esmeralda, Glue, Yuzong, and then the rest is spread out. So Okay. Backs up the idea then that Esmeralda is one of the favored picks right now in the meta. And then when we look into Demon Knight, he has a pretty wide pool, but you see here the Lancelots picked up. If I'm not mistaken, almost all of these Lancelot picks were first pick blue side, or at least 4 of those. Hayabusa gets picked up too. Of course, his Fanny gets banned out a lot. He has that Cho Jungle pick, the Balman, the Aulus. So yeah, it just backs it up. And surprisingly enough, the most picked right now of Aqua isn't even the Kagures, the Sicilian. So you have Sicilian, Kags, Eve. Spread out. So, there. That's why I'm doing this stream. Because just with the RSG1 alone, you could see, oh, okay. Just compare the tendencies for which phase na pinipili nila yung mga heroes. And then, if you look at the hero stats, you can really see what's going on. So, tignan naman natin yung NXPE. NXPE, again, going back to the tweet that I mentioned, even though they are the team with the widest roster usage, ginagamit nila lahat, they're using all 10 members of their roster, okay? But they are not the most, ano ulit yung nilagay ko sa tweet? They are not the most, statistically, they are not the most flexible in terms of drafting priorities. That's echo. But next play esports, I had to put this as what do you call it? As a disclaimer na even though NXP aren't super flexible in terms of kung sino yung pinaprayo nila, gumagana pa rin. Their drafting pattern, their idea is what works for them. So that's good. So if you look here for NXPE, what I want to focus on are these people. Donut, El Piso, Renegade, Yelly Haze. So, why did I say that NXPE have a pretty similar drafting pattern? Sorry, I just needed to highlight the others. Have a pretty similar drafting pattern no matter what their lineup is. It's because they put, so far, importance mainly on heroes for Yelly Haze and Donut. And they're the ones that actually get Donut. El Piso. All of El Piso's picks have been picked first. Tingnan natin yung hero stats ng NXPE. All Matilda. And you can't go that wrong with the Matilda pick. So, if they pick up the Matilda, either they're up against a team that don't pick a lot of Esmeraldas, or they're okay with picking up the Esmeralda, or they ban out the Esmeralda. So, that's one thing you have to look. And even though El Piso has played 6 games, Yelly Haze also played 6, even when Yelly Haze is playing, they like to prioritize first phase picks for Yelly Haze. Donut, when he's playing, has his picks prioritized. Hesa has only played half of the games, but it juggles. So, with Donut and Yelly Haze and El Piso, with those members, you can tell, as of now, okay, they're going to be prioritized on the first phase. Again, not always, pero more often than not, they will be prioritized. You can see here also, sa Gitnu, similar to the thinking of RSG, they put a lot of importance sa XP lane because for sa Gitnu's picks sa XP lane, what we're seeing actually is sa Gitnu picking up heroes that can substitute themselves as tanks. Pwede din sila maging tank. So, looking at sa Gitnu, tignan mo. Glue is his most picked. And then the rest are a toss-up between Ruby, Uranus, even has a Yuzong pickup, Edith. So his XP laner picks are ones that can really hold down the front line. So that backs up the idea because of NXPE utilizing more of the let's make sure we get an XP laner who can also hold down the front line if ever Renegade or Cadenza aren't playing like a normal tank or we have a very soft lineup. So there. John Clever Cisneros, hey, what's up, Dan? NXP priority, those has lowest hero pool but can play it very well. Exactly. And that's why even though despite their rotating lineup, they have certain tendencies in their draft, they're still very solid. It works for them. Now, I want to see more NXPE games because I feel like these numbers need a bit more data. Kasi nga, they're always switching their lineups around. So, I need more data, especially for Hesa, MP the King, Ureshi. So I can get a more solid picture. But right now we're seeing even MP the King, his picks are prioritized first. Lancelot's, Matilda's, I think he even has a Roger game. Not sure if he has a Lancelot game. Karina's, not Matilda, sorry. Karina, Roger, things like that. So there, that's NXPE. Now let's look at the defending champions, Blacklist International. Rough start of the season, but they're starting to get their footing. They're really good. Paupo saglit, makikinig lang din po. Welcome to the class. Please give me your class information so I can send it to your advisor. This will be counted in your grades. Joke lang. Okay. In-adjust ko lang yung... Ay! Ba't ang dami? Oh, wait, no. I have to change this up later. Okay. Let's look at Blacklist International. This one. So, this surprised me because I didn't realize that Blacklist International, they didn't get a second phase pick for Haji until I think week 3 lang natin nakita yung second phase pick ni Haji. It was either week 3 or week 2. But then almost all of the picks of Haji was picked in the first phase. So that gives you an identity, or that gives you an idea on the identity of Blacklist International. They want mid lane priority, or they want to get the comfort pick for Haji because he's I'm not sure if he's still the captain / main shot caller. Andre, yes you may, don't forget to bring your hall pass. Diba week 3, nakita natin. So, prior to week 3, lahat ng first picks ni Haji napunta sa first phase. And these are usually Eve, Lilia. He has 2 or 3 Cho picks. So yeah, it's either that. Eve, Lilia, Cho, Farsa. Tignan nga natin. Haji. Lilia, 4. Farsa, 2. Ako nga pala, Valentina, 2. Eve, 4. So, Blacklist International is a team that wants to get their really strong mid lane picks right away. Walang duda. They put a lot of importance onto the picks of Haji because they feel like with the hero pool available to them, Farsa, Valentina, Eve, Lilia, Cho, it gives them good control of the draft for them and good control of the game. Because the heroes that I mentioned, most of them have really good wave clear or are artillery mages or are just difficult to deal with sometimes. Even though Lilia has a low win rate, she can still be very difficult to deal with. Now, everything else is actually pretty split. They flex it around. The only constant thing for Blacklist International is Haji gets his first phase pick. But you get Edwards picks, Kevier's picks, Oheb's picks. It can go anywhere. And I think that should mean that Blacklist International are either really tailoring all their drafts specific to the matchup, or as much as possible, they're very cautious with picking certain picks up until they know favorable yung matchup nila. Because even for Dexter, look, 5 out of 5. All of the first phase picks, you can surely predict that Haji will get his pick sa first phase. And everything else is just a toss-up. I can make Blacklist International very difficult to draft against. But at the same time, if you look at the hero pool of Blacklist, it's actually pretty big. Oh wait, no. I'll change it. Yon. To the unique. One. Ba't one lahat? Meron akong way kanina para ay, okay. Sorry. Let me change this. Whoop. 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 That didn't help. That's worse. Okay. There. Despite that, their hero pool is actually relatively wide. They have a pretty wide hero pool for Kevier. Web has a good amount. Brody Bea, Alice, Harith, Kimmy, Lunox, Clint. Even have that one show game, but I don't think we'll see that again. Edward, mostly Barats, Dairoth, Glue, Paquito, Ruby, Uranus. Huh? Is this right? Edward hasn't played Esmeralda this season? I'm gonna have to double check. Something's weird. But it should be right. Pretty sure he had one Esmeralda game. Uranus is his most picked. Maybe that's why sometimes when I'm trying to predict Blacklist's draft and game, I'd always try to predict Esmeralda, but then Uranus always shows up. Interesting. Okay. So there. Gives you a good idea for Blacklist International. I feel like at this point, a lot of us are very familiar with the picks of Blacklist, which is why sometimes I wouldn't say they're the easiest draft to predict, but they're just so familiar. And for the longest time, especially Season 7, Season 8, even though they keep picking the same things over and over again, they were dominating. It's just a testament to the abilities of Blacklist. It's interesting to see what their tendencies look like now. If I'm not mistaken, also, they were... Maybe I could try to compare this with back in Season 8, just so we could see what they were like. Okay, let's read some comments. Desi, I think regarding Blacklist, behind the scenes is regaining of the muscle memory of Dex. Yeah, hence Lolita spam. Methinks it is more of building chemistry more than winning the draft, getting wild drafts. Yeah, build chemistry, get your solid picks. Isaac, we'll get to Omega later. Pagkatapos sila ng Echo. Alternative version talaga ng Black and NXP. Interesting take. Edward didn't play Esme. Thank you for confirming, John. With the Blacklist Seaball and MPL Blacklist soon to be merged into one bootcamp, can at least help the MPL team? Maybe, yeah. It will help their improvement. Hey, what's up, Jade? What's up, bro? Okay. Tingnan naman natin ang Bren Esports. So, 10 games and played total. All in their 5 series because we all know Bren Esports hasn't won their game yet, sadly. So let's look at their priorities. Their priorities are Flap, Saksa, Joy Boy. Few is a toss-up, but this is mostly either Lilia or Kagura for Few. He has like one Farsa game as well, if I'm not mistaken. This changes to Bren. Saan ba si Few? Yeah, see, 6 Kagura games, 2 games on Lilia. Has a Selena game, has a Valentina game, but it's mostly Kagura. So, hey, what's up, Isaac? Miss you too, bro. Dairoth is hot right now and can go toe-to-toe with Esme and laning. Hell yeah. Dairoth has insane damage. Especially against Esme. So, if you look at Bren Esports, they like to prioritize their XP laner. Mostly Esmeralda, Glue, Yuzong for Flap. Yuzong, Paquito, Glue, Esme. Yeah, but yeah, Esmeralda, Glue, Yuzong are his most picked. Dairoth, Paquito. Yeah, still got it. Joy Boy. Pretty even spread. But Ruby's, Chose, Edith, Grok. One Grok game for Joy Boy? Okay. Kufra, Matilda. Even spread. Saksa. Let's look at Saksa's heroes. These are mostly Lancelots, if I'm not mistaken. No, Paquito. Paquito, Lance, to Hayabusa. Tight spread. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 heroes in 10 games. And the most interesting thing for me, now that we know the priorities for them, is their main priorities, yeah. They want to secure a very strong XP laner. They want to secure a comfortable jungler for Saxa, although it's hard to go wrong with your jungler pick this meta. There are so many jungler picks in MPL PH Season 9 that it's hard to get an unfavorable matchup for your jungler. Teams draft very well for their junglers. Although there was one game that Bren Esports got pinched and they picked the Kimmy jungle, which it looked like they weren't comfortable with playing that, just based on what I could see. But the true priority of Bren are their side lanes, because you have Flap with 9 and 1 and Super Marco having his gold lane picked 8 times. Goes to show Bren Esports want the most favorable matchup as possible for their gold lane. It goes to show that maybe the thinking for Bren Esports is, let's do this, mid-game power spike, late game. There's been an idea going around, I think it's the main thing now, wherein there are teams and players who consider that, and I know there's a whole debate about this, but people are saying that the real position one now isn't the jungler, it's the gold laner. Because of the priority you wanted to get and the fact that that's your late game insurance most of the time. But then, of course, that's if you're playing a marksman or something with that scales well into the late game. Because Echo has shown picks such as Paquito and Yuzong for late game, and they're not really not super late game heroes. Although Paquito, okay pa naman yung damage niya. Boss, magtagalog na lang po kayo. Yeah, I'll just do both. I'll just do both. This is still going on YouTube no matter what. Do you have any comments about some comparison between PH versus Indometa? Sadly, hindi ko pa nakita yung stats ng Indonesia. Hindi ko pa na-access. Okay. So for Bren Esports, yeah, priority para kay Super Marco. First phase, they're okay with whatever they give Flap. That's confidence in Flap. And there's a lot of really strong XP laners right now. And because of them wanting to secure, prioritize Glue, Yuzong, malakas din naman sila na XP laner, so kunin nila kagad. And then, adjust na lang nila yung pick para kay Super Marco. So for Bren, that's their identity. Side lanes, main focus, gold lane. Alright. And then of course, a lot of success picks go into the first phase because dahil nga sobrang lakas ng mga jungle picks ngayon, wanna pick those early. Echo, and why I said that they are the most statistically flexible in terms of drafting priorities. Look at that spread. That's so tight. Benny Cutie, Carl Tizzy, and Curtizy. Okay, you're probably thinking, well, thank you. You're welcome, Balbador. You're probably thinking, okay, pero 3 players lang naman yan eh. Bakit sila yung pinaka-statistically flexible? Think about the picks. Think about what they have shown. Think about Curtizy rocking the Johnson. So it shows that sometimes Yawi can go mid, Curtizy can go tank. Curtizy naman, that means they're tailoring their drafts sometimes. They have a lot of Carl Tizzy in mind. Either to get his priority right away or they want to make sure by the time na sa second phase na sila, nakuha nila yung mga magandang jungle picks na at that time R is okay. Whoa! What did I do? May napindot ako, sorry. I think that's just the history. Sorry, nagulat lang ako. Okay. Balik tayo. And then, for Benny Cutie, and this is the part of the draft for Echo that really is very flexible. Think about the heroes of Benny Cutie. Naglaro na siya ng gold lane Yuzong, Beatrix, Paquito, Lunox. And you can see here, because of the distribution and the heroes that I mentioned, specifically, let's get the Paquito. And let's get the Yuzong. He has 3 games in the gold lane Yuzong, the Beatrix. There's so many things to consider when you're up against Echo. Because of their flexibility is due to their early to mid-centric playstyle. Yes, hence the preference for fighter heroes, many of which are flexible. Yes. Very, very good point. Balanced distribution of draft, and they trust in the flexibility of Benny Cutie in terms of the heroes that he can play. 3 Martizi, he's dependable in terms of, you already know what 3 Martizi wants to play. You know? But then, if you pick up the Yuzong in a draft, you have to think, okay, are they going to flex it? Is this going to be a flex pick? Is it going to go XP lane, gold lane? Or is it going to go into the jungle? Because of the Paquito, just with Echo alone, you have 3 options. Gold lane, even though Paquito has no record yet on the XP lane for Trimar, you also have to consider that. And then also, Carl Easy can play Paquito in the jungle. When Esmeralda shows up, yeah, that's probably going to go in the hands of Trimar. Same thing goes for Glue. No game for Yaoi yet. You have to contest the Cho when you're up against Echo, which is why when I'm trying to predict drafts with teams that have Echo in it, either expected that Cho will be one of the first picks or will be one of the banned heroes. And then you see here the spread of Carl Tizzy with 3 games in the Paquito, Lancelot, and Olos. Olos in the Olos in the Paquito, they can go first phase, second phase. Lancelot, that's mostly going to be going into the first phase. So this is why, because of the tendency of Echo to have double fighter side lanes, their flexibility in key picks, they are a very difficult team to draft against. Add that to the fact na nung week 3, nagpakita din ng Diggy si Yaoi, although Chaknu did that earlier this season. And then, they can also play the Natalia now. So that makes Echo even more of a difficult team to draft against. And hence, maybe why Echo is the top team right now in the league. Let's look at the questions right now. Do you have some stats like best or top XP lane player even on the gold lane, JG, tank support too? Player specific, no. But if you look at my hero stats, best gold laner right now without a doubt is Beatrix. Best roamer without a doubt is Cho. If you make me pick my mythical 5 of heroes, sige, let's put it here. Mythical 5 heroes. Rome, Cho, Gold, Beatrix. Look at this part of the screen. XP, I'd put Esme or Yura. It's a toss-up. Mid, malakas si Eve, but because of the presence of something like a Yuzong, and now more teams are starting to pick up Khalid, I'd rather pick Kagura, who, by the way, has fixed her win rate, and she has a pretty good win rate now. 61% win, 11, 18, only banned 3 times. Kagura is a pick that isn't banned a lot. She'll only be banned siguro pag sa second phase wala pang pinipiling mid laner yung kalaban nyo, ibaban out nyo siya. It's one of the best options. Tas jungle, literally anyone. Top performer right now is Lance. But then Fanny would be good too. Pero if we'll look at it in terms of the performances, the stats, win rate, how many times they were picked, I put that Lance. So I'd make this like my mythical 5 right now. Rome, Cho, Gold, Bea, XP, Esme, Yura, Mid, Kagura, Jungle, Lance. But of course, at the end of the day, depende pa rin yan sa mga lineups ng kalaban mo. Because what if this is gonna have a hard time because of a pick on the other side? This has such good escape, so not so much. So yeah. In terms of the top performers, heroes per position, it's this. Cho. Ito siya. Wait, let's add tayo ng column left. Ay, gagi. Isa pa. Okay. Si Cho, don't mind that. But ang taas, dapat 66. So, let's just put here 16 wins and for pick 24. Si Beatrix, yan. Si Esmeralda, let's focus on Esmeralda. Pero solid din si Uranus eh. But, si Esme ngayon yung highest pick and win rate. Kagura, ito. It's either all above 60%. Lance, except Lance. Pero nababalance out siya kasi ang dami ng pipick ng Lance ngayon eh. So there. I couldn't answer again specifically for the players, but for the positions, it's those. Ito yung times pick. Ito yung wins. Picturean nyo if you want. I'll keep it there. Okay. Let's delete these columns. Oh, Allison, I love this. Rome Edith, XP Glue. I will always be a fan of this combo. Always. I really love Edith and Glue together and Edith and Farsa together. That's why if you watch Onyx versus TNC Game 1, I predicted an Edith and Farsa and it came through as their last two picks. Edith Glue, YZ Clint, Farsa Olos. Palag, bro. For Farsa, you can juggle it around. You can make that an Eve. Because it will supplement the Olos with the slows. You have a lot of damage, but for me, I'd want more control. Pero Farsa, Edith, Glue, YZ Clint, Olos together are good. I like the idea of double fighter side lanes for Olos. Because technically, Olos becomes your marksman. But Olos is melee. But it's attack speed. So, same principle, pero melee lang. Okay, let's go back to it. So, I think we're clear now for Echo, right? We're clear why Echo's super good with their draft. Why they're super interesting to draft against. Or draft for. What team do you think will likely to step up and will hand Echo their first loss? In week number 4, we're gonna see Echo versus Onyx. That's all I'm gonna say. But we'll also see... Have we seen Echo Blacklist already? Echo, Onyx, Echo NXPE. Oh, by the way, guys. Interesting thing to note. This is... Week 4 is our midterm. Not for this. This really feels like a class now. But it's the midterm for the league. So, week number 4 of MPL PH is super important because we're gonna find out the records of the teams. By the end of week 4, I mean, nakalaban na lahat ng teams ang isa't isa. Once. Kasi, kung tignan niyo yung schedule dito, week 5, week 8, mirror lang siya ng schedule ng week 1 to 4. So, week 4 talaga yung midterm natin. Na makita if Echo wins all their series by the end of week 4, it means that tinalo na nila lahat isang beses ang ibang team sa MPL. Okay? And if, sadly, on the other side, if Bren loses their series in week 4, and that's tough, TNC and Omega, it means that Bren has lost to all the teams. So, yun. Week 4, midterm season. Week 5 to week 8, mirror sked lang ng week 1 to 4. Okay? So, that's a good way to remember the schedule. Let's go back to... Okay, we're done with Echo. Invisible boat mobile match, yeah. Boss Renmar, ba't ang pogi mo? I don't know. It just is. It happens. Thoughts on Savior that will be released soon? I will admit, hindi ko pa nakikita yung mga hero kit ni Savior. So I'm sorry. I won't be able to give analysis or inputs on Savior just yet. Can't wait. Can't watch on FB. We'll wait for the post in YT. Okay, Tets. I think someone can beat Echo when they prioritize objectives. I think someone can beat Echo if they can pressure. Actually, yeah. In a way, that's true. Because we saw a glimpse of that in Echo versus RSG. Yeah. We're in game 1 and 2, or especially in game 1. And even TNC versus Echo. The weird thing for Echo is, even if you take all 3 turtles of the game, it's hard to get a massive lead against Echo. If I'm not mistaken, the highest lead I've seen a team get against Echo is 3K to 4K in gold by close to minute 8 to 10. Which, dahil sa mga picks ng Echo, they still have the capability to turn the game around. So that's one thing to consider with Echo. Because TNC, literally SDZYZ, when TNC and Echo faced, TNC got all the turtles against Echo. SD got all 9 turtles, or just missed out on 1 against Echo. And still it was 2-1. So that's why I'm watching for the rematch of TNC Echo, but I'm also watching out for Onyx versus Echo. I feel like because Echo showed the Diggy and the Natalia, Echo is like Onyx, but with a little bit more spirit of RSG because of their aggression. That's what I see Echo as like. But it's still Echo. It's like if Onyx, PH, and RSG had a baby, it's Echo. Does that make sense? Yeah. Teams might need to out early the early game of Echo. Pressure them early on. If you're gonna have to at least to be able to pressure the jungle and the gold lane at the same time. But Echo does a good job of defending. Okay. I'm so glad someone asked this kasi I wanna address this. Troll ba yung laban ng Blacklist versus RSG ng Game 2 kasi open yung Olos ng Game 2? Bakit Cho pinili? Sa tingin nyo po ba nag-experiment lang sila? Sinabi na ng RSG na pinili nila yung Cho Jungle kasi sa ilang beses nila sinubukan outside with their practice, with their scrims, gumana siya. It's just that if you watch back in the game, ang galing ng ginawa ng Blacklist International because they really gave no opportunity for the Cho. Wala. Barely any openings for Demon Kite's Cho. Because Blacklist International, if my memory serves me right, they were able to push the gold lane fast. Yun yung unang tore na sinira nila. Pagkatapos noon, yung lineup pa nila ay may Edith at Glue. May Lilia din. Tas yung jungle nila, Lancelot, I think. So, yung main target lang pwedeng i-access ni Demon Kite is the Beatrix. Pero dahil double tanky frontline yung kalaban mo, ang hirap nun. Blacklist just really answered the Cho jungle really well. Okay, there's a lot of Blacklist questions and stuff, so solid. Thank you guys. I will go back to that. So let's talk about Omega. So, Omega fans, I'm pretty sure they're happy because they're bouncing back. And I think I'm not sure if I've said this in a cast before, pero para sa Omega, feeling ko one of the reasons kung bakit nakaka-comeback sila, other than the fact na, of course, ilang beses na sinabi, I think it was Coach Pacbet, na tinulungan talaga nila mag-improve si Ryzen. Not to say that Ryzen was the weak link, but then as a team effort, you want to make sure everyone's in the same page. Na, mas nakita natin ngayon sa Omega kasi, mas madalas na pumipila ng Demon Slayer talent emblem si Ryzen. Because of that, hindi na masyado kailangan alagaan ni Chakno at ni Itomax si Ryzen sa jungle. Having the Demon Slayer emblem, depending sa mga talents na kinuha mo, either means for sure mas mabilis yung farm mo, and then at the same time, less damage makukuha mo sa mga lords and turtles. So, mas madalas na nakakaikot ngayon sila Chakno at si Itomax, they're okay with Ryzen. Kasi inayos nila yung, I think they talked to Ryzen with his rotations, what to watch out for. Ryzen's becoming a very scary jungler, ha? Nakita mo talaga yung yung epekto ni Wise sa mga junglers ngayon. A lot of the junglers now are really just, I'm gonna farm, make sure I get the objectives, highest gold per minute or super high GPM, I get the objectives, I get the retreats up, I get the lords, I get the turtles. You know, you can really see the effect that Wise has had, and it's a beauty to watch. These junglers today are terrifying. Palitan natin to. This is Omega. Tumaas din yung priority ng Omega sa mga Lings, Karinas, and Lances, if I'm not mistaken. So, Ryzen. Olus also, Olus. Ling, 3 na. Lance, Pakito. I won't be surprised if Omega keep making these their jungle picks. Siguro at one point may mag-hayabusa din si si Ryzen. Gana din sa mentality na yun eh. But then they'll still be killing spree. Hindi yun Demon Slayer. Pero tingnan mo. I think this past week, they had 2 first picks or 2 times first pick nila yung Ling sa blue side. Lance, Olos, Pakito. I think we're gonna start to see more Karinas for Ryzen eventually. Pero so far, Ling and Lance, and the Olos, solid. Sobrang solid talaga para sa Omega. Hey, what's up, Coach Yeb? One of my idol coaches as well. If Ryzen continuously improves, we might not see KLVJ most of Omega's main rotation. I think yun yung nakita natin ngayon. Okay. Back to the drafting tendency. So, kita mo. Chakno, Chak, Itomax, Ryzen. And what was I just talking about? Diba? We were talking about Chakno, Itomax being more free to rotate. Wilp, binati na kita kanina. Ano ba yan? We were talking about Chakno, Itomax being able to freely rotate easier because Ryzen now packs more Demon Slayer. But then, of course, even before, they were already prioritizing Ryzen. So, it goes to show that Omega puts a lot of importance as well in their core mid lane 3. Their tank, their support, tas yung jungler. How they rotate, how they want to fight for objectives, things like that. Renjo becomes one of their swing picks because you can either go first or second there. Kelra, you can also see their priority. So, for the Omega, it's so interesting. When you look at Omega, you can really see their principles of their drafting, of how they play. Chakno, Itomax, Ryzen almost go into the first phase. They want to prioritize getting good picks there. They want to prioritize really strong mid laners with either good burst damage, great wave clear, all the hallmarks of a good mid laner. Kasi from early to mid, gusto nila na maganda yung rotation ng roam nila, support nila along with their jungle. Tas, going to the second phase of the draft, looking at Kelra, looking at Renjo, you can flex his picks around. Hey, what's up, Manong Isyo? Hindi ka ba na-shout kanina? Renjo, you can flex his picks, either first or second, depende, because you can also pick Chakno in the second alongside Renjo, so you can get a favorable front line. And then, most of the time, Omega will pick Kelra's heroes in the second phase because they believe that okay, dapat sa maganda yung gold lane natin, maganda yung scaling, maganda yung matchup because they want to prioritize that. So, you can see there, Omega wants their bases covered. Early to mid, very strong. Mid to late, they should have a tool. It's very, despite their unique picks nung first 2 weeks, I like the way Omega drafted in week number 3. And I can't wait to see how this changes for week number 4. Because right now, sobrang clear yung identity ng Omega with their drafting tendencies here. Just wow. Onic time! Let's look at Onyx. Hatred. Kyrie. Lot of Marquis picks go into the second phase. Delarski is their swing. So it's very similar to Omega. And of course, they've only fielded these 5. So yeah. Similar points that I made with Omega, you can also make with Onyx. But, tignan natin yung heroes ng OMG. So if OMG, Itomax, Cecil, Kagu, Selena 4 times, Chuck, Big Spread, Renjo, Esmeralda. Sorry, I'm just taking mental notes of the key ones. Ryzen, Olus, Ling, Pakito. Okay. Tignan natin yung sa Onyx. Kyrie, Hayabusa. And that's why I'm saying Omega can also slot in a Hayabusa if they want at one point. Because Kyrie and although they have different playstyles. Ling, 4. Lance, 2, 1. Olus, 1. Pakito, 1. Quite similar. Very, very similar. Except just more Hayabusas for Kyrie. Oh, I am gonna watch out for Onyx versus Omega too. Just look at the spread. Hatred, yung flex Chonya can go 5 or 4, or I think all the times 5. Delarski, very wide spread of XP lane heroes. I hope we get to see more Khalid. Esmeralda isn't even like a super constant. Uranus Phoveus most pick. Pero, very adjustable yung picks dito. Rafaela Nibaloyski was a terror versus TNC. Very flex. Eve, very flex. Kyrie Slings, 4 Hatred, 4 Cho. Looking at the hero pool of Onyx, very spread out. You have your what do you call this? You have your certain picks that they want to pick more often, but you don't really have one that's just like the go-to. I think for Onyx, yeah, one of their go-tos it'll become the Ling depending on the draft. Ling and Haya for Kyrie are good. I think Lancelot are often banned versus Onyx, or it's just not favorable to pick it yet. Very interesting. Okay. So, pati yung pool nila banana split. Pansin ko sa Onyx, medyo na-spoil na yung banana split nila. Tsaka wala na din yung surprise factor nila. Medyo predictable lalo na kay Marky at Hatred. Although, the thing is, I feel like that thought was sort of countered by Onyx versus TNC. Kasi yung, especially games 2 and 3, yung Onyx versus TNC. Good God, sobrang halimo nung ginawa ng Onyx doon. Kawawa TNC. And TNC is no joke, ha. It's one of the top teams. Pero, I feel like after their experimental, I wouldn't say experimental, but you could see they were trying out different things in weeks 1 and 2. Week 3, end of week 2, and then in week 3, we got to see more of like the classic Onyx playstyle, which is, again, if it's working, if they make it work, go for it. They would have won against Omega, and they were in the lead most of the game against Omega. Pero the thing is, that was unfortunate. What happened, you know? I remember what happened, Onyx versus Omega. Still one of my favorite series. Just unfortunate that Lord hit Ryzen instead of the base ones. So yeah, in terms of drafting priorities sa positioning, Omega and Onyx are very similar. But this is where we compare yung mga hero pools nila to really see their playstyle in action. Well, not really, because we'll see the playstyle in action in-game. Pero yeah, you compare those priority tendencies with the hero pools, that's how you get the idea of what teams like to play as. Alright? So even if pwede masabihin na Onyx and Omega, they prioritize their jungler, their roamer, tas yung support nila. But that doesn't mean they have the same playing style because you have to look at their you have to look at their hero pools. But I think Omega, no, yeah, Onyx splits a bit more. But with Kelras, Popol, and Koopa becoming more of a thing, teams have to watch out for that. Interesting. Okay. Last but definitely not the least, TNC Pro Team. One of the pleasant surprises of the season. Let's see who they prio. Escalera, Cram. And I will put Yasuo as their priority. So, for TNC, if I'm not mistaken, para kay Cram, most of these are gonna be Esmeralda. For Escalera, it's a widespread. Kagura, Efar, yung mga typical na mid lane picks. 2 or 3 on the Selena. They let it slide. 1 or 2 games on the Valentina din, if I'm not mistaken. Yasuo, even spread. Beatrix, Clint, a few games in Brody. SDZYZ, Lancelot, Karina, Olus, Paquito. So, Ben thinks Jawhead lagi. Not all the time. Ben thinks has an even spread of Jawhead and Cho. And 1 game on Franco. 2 games on Franco. 1 game on Franco. Tignan na nga natin. Oh yeah, Jawhead 5. O nga pala, no? Jawhead, Cho, Franco, 2. Edith, Ruby. So yeah, basically Jawhead. You're right. Thank you. Esme, 7 games para kay Crab. Woo! Yasuo, 6 games para kay Clint. 3-3, Beatrix, Brody. SD, Lance. And yeah, this is what also makes TNC an impressive team. Kita mo, in terms of their drafting tendencies na Escalera's picks, Cram's picks will go first phase, Yasuo's picks will get second phase. Tas tignan mo yung hero pool nila. This is a testament to the ability of TNC. They don't play a lot of heroes. They're not something as hindi naman silang sobrang surprising sa draft. I think all the best analysts in the teams actually know or expect what TNC will draft. But TNC just plays really well. Although they got destroyed by Onyx in game 2 and 3, they beat RSG 2-0 really well in week number 3. Week 3, day 1. They took a game away from Onyx. The reliance on the Demon Slayer even. Taken to that, TNC, and I mean this with a lot of respect because of their ability, in terms of their drafting, in terms of what they want to play as, they're predictable. But they play so well that they're one of the top teams in the league. Now that's what you call fundamentals, baby. That's dependable and fundamental. I think that becomes, yun yung pwede mong gawin bagong slogan ng TNC. Kung may TNC, nice G, may TNC, dependable and fundamental. It's boring. Okay, it sounds boring when I say it, but you know what I mean. Holy crap. TNC, man. No, it just sparked in my head that, wow. It just goes to show they're really good. But I think they need to make a game plan for what happens if SDZYZ gets completely shut down. Yes, here. Start to beat TNC. Let Yasuo pick in first phase. It's hard to actually force him to pick first phase. Because if you're going to start banning out gold laners, you're going to open up so much more. Yasuo got picked twice in the first phase. I'll have to see their... Oh! I think I know how we can... That's how we can find out! Okay, so... Oh my god, I can double click it to find out what the... Okay. They were both Clint games. And it was just a win-loss. Wait, I'll move my face. Para makita nyo. Ay, whoops! There, oh. Win-loss. So it's hard to say let Yasuo pick first phase as a condition to beat TNC. Although I do agree with you. Don't let SDZYZ get his objectives. Because that's what happened in Onyx versus TNC. Na-OC ako, sandali lang. Onyx completely shut down SD's capability to get his objectives, that it ruined the movement of TNC Pro Team. Kaya sobrang dominante. Feeling ko mate na natago pa tong TNC sa drafting. Oo. Most likely. So there you have it. Hopefully you guys understood. And why I haven't been posting so much content kasi busy ako sa stat sheet na to. I'll give you a peek at my master sheet. No, never mind, I won't. But yeah. Again, shout out kay Wolf. Maraming salamat sa pagsabi, turo sa akin ng pivot tables. When I found out about pivot tables, I was like, it completely changed how I track stats. Sobrang mas madali na buhay ko because look at this, I have all of this here. Hey JM, what's up? One of my favorite shoutcasters. Not in the MPL. Super talented guy, JM. Love you, man. Okay. Meron pa akong meron pa akong isang hindi yung gusto kong pakita. Heroes. Okay. Tignan natin ang wait lang. Your values are not gonna be players. Values are gonna be heroes. Heroes per team. That's TNC. Your column isn't players. Here, okay. We're not done yet. Hey, what's up, Bibimbap? Also one of my favorite shoutcasters, not in the MPL currently. Super entertaining to listen to you guys. Like the crew in Juicy. God, you guys are so all of you are so amazing in what you do. Galing nyo. Durian, appreciate this. Been watching from the start. Eat your dinner na. Hey. Maya pa. Hot take. Oh, I like this, Alison. Hot take. Lesser 3 of Archangel and TNC is now excelling than Big 3 of Archangel and Brand. Interesting words, girl. What's... I like it. I like the hot take. What's the software? This is Google Sheets, guys. Google Sheets lang to. Okay. Mabilisan lang. Let's look at the most banned heroes per team. Woo! That's a wide pool for Blacklist. Wait. Heroes banned. Hindi, ito yung mga bans nila. Wait lang. I have to check. Heroes banned. Blacklist. Okay. These are the heroes most banned per team. Clint, Joe. Of course, Valiant. No, what? Are they mostly blue side? They haven't banned Valentina a lot. Wait. Whoops. Okay, there we go. I also added TNC then. Wow. Okay. Ito pala. Yun. I was in the wrong filter. So Selena is still Blacklist's most banned. Yeah, it messes up a lot of their what they want to do. Lodi rin mo. Wait. Ano to? What if change role Haji to Corny? Wait. In-address na yan ni Coach Bon. Dahil nga nasa mid at roam din si Haji sa sa Sibol. Nakakagulo yun. Plus ang hirap mag-adjust na ipa-jungle mo ulit si Haji. So, in-address na yun ni Coach Bon. Hi, Kuya Butters. Wrong person, man. You know I'm not Butters. My name is clearly there. Thoughts on Valentina Rome? Work on it more. It'll take a long time for it to be a normal pick, I guess. It has to have a good partnership with the mid laner that has good early burst. Pero yung masakit sa Valentina Rome, you have to make sure you hit the Terrify. Make sure the Terrify hits, make sure they get bursted. Super conditional I like the Valentina XP laner pick. As a constant thing to do, no. Pero kung may butas ang lineup nyo, sabihin natin kulang kayo sa pag-frontline. It's like what NXPE did They needed one more frontliner. They had the Valentina. They made that the XP laner kasi yung isang frontliner na kalaban nila was a glue. And it worked really well. Yung Valentina XP lane ni Ureshi ba yun? It was really solid. So super dependable. Freya, I don't see enough of her. But there are certain things to Freya's ability kit that make her obsolete Kasi isipin mo, in a way, with the reliance on attack speed, Valentina and Olus are somewhat similar. Of course, Valentina meron siyang talon, slight, she has that knock-up, but they both have crowd control. They're both very based on attack speed and regen. A little bit more regen for Freya, pero if you build Olus right, you get a bit of regen per hit. Of course, you'll be rocking either Killing Spree, you get heal from that, or if naka-Demon Slayer ka, but then usually you're gonna have the War Axe, you can build him a Bloodlust Axe, something that gives a little bit more lifesteal. Somewhat similar. The existence of Olus makes Freya obsolete. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Yin, sana lumabas na. Jungle, yes. Jungle Yin will probably show up. Maybe a lane Yin. But then lane, oh my god. The only worry I have for Yin is if you miss his dash, if you don't land it, if you get kited in the Shadow Realm, kawawa ka. Sucks. But I want to see Yin. Hey, what's up, Santi? Superstar, what's up, bro? Love Santi, man. Dude, fit in so easily in the MPL. Deserves to be here. Love you, Santi. I don't feel roaming Valentina. Same. I just find it so funny na yung first Savage sa MPL Indonesia came from Amiya. Kasi I think it was day 3 dito. So, nung day 3, nakakausap ko onte si Mirko sa live niya sa Instagram. Tapos doon niya sinabi, first Savage sa MPL ID Season 9, galing sa Mia. Tapos may Minotaur pa sa lineup. What a time to be alive. I love what's happening all over the world sa meta ng MLBB. My goodness. That's the kind of excitement we love. Okay. Balikan natin yung mga ito. So, most banned for Blacklist, Selena. Of course, the Selena can actually really mess up the rotation of their 5 and 4. Has a lot of information. Could make it very difficult for what they prioritize in game. Makes sense. Bren. Phoveus, most banned. Dependency of the junglers to have high dash. Lance, Pakito. Tignan natin. Sorry, this is just like me low-key flexing right now. Yeah. Lance. Yeah, because of all the dashes that the heroes at Saxa uses. Plus, at the same time, Phoveus can be very annoying in mid-game if he had a good start. Who else? Yeah, pretty much it. Oh, they also have Cho priorities, Ruby priorities. The movements counts as dash if I'm not mistaken. So, no surprise that Phoveus is the most banned of Bren. Echo naman. Clint, Lilia as their most banned. Phoveus as their most banned. Okay, similar to Bren, a lot of bans on Phoveus. There's a lot of dashes in the meta, so they don't want to be able to activate his demonic force. Lilia, because if the mid lane of Echo isn't handled well, mahirapan sila gumalaw. So they don't want that really strong mid lane wave clear. Then at the same time, the fact that Lilia can just reset with black shoes, ayaw din nila sayangin yung mga abilities nila. They want to make sure if they land there and they hit their abilities, it will convert to a kill. And that's risky with the Lilia. Clint, probably just because they're taking away gold laners. And at the same time, dahil nga sa ability ni Clint, if you just get hit by his root, yung immobilize niya, he'll be able to burst down. So, maybe that's why they banned him out a lot. It's even spread. But yeah, Clint's, Lilia's, Phoveus's, those are heroes they don't wanna face up against. Side note, love the hair. Aw, thanks, Sona. I'm seeing more comments. Balikan ko yan, don't worry. I'm just finishing up this part. NXPE. Fanny. Understandable. Fanny is terrifying. Lancelot. So jungles. Fanny, Haya, Lancelot. They put a lot of importance in the jungle matchup, or they have a lot of respect for the enemy junglers. They don't want to deal with a lot of mobility because at the same time, NXPE also split the map really well during crucial moments. Ayaw din nila makalaban ng isang jungler na mahirap kalabanin para sa mga objectives because they put importance on the turtles. Similar to the Cho, they don't want to get picked off. Yeah. Interesting. You can really look at a team's identity just by looking at their most banned. NXP, Omega, even spread. Phoveus, Val. Yeah. Pretty much the same. 1-1 though. Don't want to go up against 1-1. Maybe because Omega have very long team fights sometimes. Or ayaw lang ng Omega na may chance ang kalaban na makakomeback in a long team fight. Long team fights favor 1-1. Kasi the longer the team fight is, the faster it means, more chances na she can activate her ultimate if you can reduce the marks. Okay. Onyx. Wow. Very spread out. But Valentina is a constant. Eve. Objective taking. Map rotation. Vision. Selena. Valentina. Eve. Controlled tempo. Valentina can quickly lead from the mid lane. Lots of control too. Eve. Objective control. Selena. Just control and vision in the map in general. Glue can disrupt the backline. Pakito, early to mid game burst and power spike can be difficult to deal with. Okay. RSG. Pretty much the same as Onyx. Valentina, Selena, Uranus, they pick a lot of Esmes. They see a lot of importance on the XP lane wave control. Cho, again, because they put a lot of importance in their roam matchup. Karina, Lance, jungle. Yeah. You can really see the identity and the preferences of RSG based on their bans also. Lastly, but not the least, again, TNC. Glue. Oh, they really don't like Glue. Glue. Yuzong. Glue, I think because they play TNC, they play a lot of pick off. And so sometimes their positioning is pick off, rest of the team close together. They don't want Glue to go up against that. And then at the same time, because sometimes you have SD Cram, even SD Cram and Ben Things are in such a forward positioning, it leaves the back line very open, which is why they have a lot of bans on Yuzong, and then also Glue. But then also kasi Yasuo positions himself really well. So you could also see why they take away Glue Yuzong as much as possible. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to talk about for now. Hopefully you guys understood everything. And hopefully you guys appreciated this because I worked very hard on the new stat sheet. And I nerded out nung nakita ko to lahat nakalatag for the first time. I felt like I was like, I understand them a bit more. Hopefully this means I can predict drafts. I've been predicting drafts better sa mga sa streams. So hopefully that continues.